G'day and welcome to the History of Aotearoa New Zealand podcast YouTube channel. That's quite a mouthful. And welcome to my bathroom once again. Apparently this is becoming a thing where I stand in my bathroom and I talk to my camera. I don't know whether that's good or bad. Anyway, the reason that we are here is because of what you've probably already guessed because you read the title, and that is I went and did a thing last weekend. You are seeing this at the start of the video, but I am actually recording this after I did all the stuff that you're about to see, because I didn't really plan it that well, unfortunately. But anyway, I did a thing last weekend, and what was that thing? That thing was to do with the 250th anniversary of the arrival of Captain Cook. So Captain Cook, of course, arrived 250 years ago, if you're watching this in 2019 when I did it. And it was in 1769, and he came here and did a whole bunch of stuff that we will eventually talk about in the main podcast, but because it was 250 years, the New Zealand government decided to put on a whole bunch of events and activities and all sorts of different stuff to basically acknowledge this extremely important event in New Zealand's history. Now I say acknowledge, not celebrate, because of course Cook's arrival is extremely controversial depending on who you are and kind of where your interests lie, I guess. In the sense that, I mean, various iwi have denounced the kind of events that were going on, in particular the big one that we went to go see down in Picton is where we went. So various iwi didn't really agree with it, so there was a bit of controversy around it that you may or may not have seen depending on how close you are to New Zealand or whether you live in New Zealand or anything like that. But the thing, the kind of big thing that the government put on, and the thing that me and my dad, who came with me, the thing that we went to go see was the flotilla. So the flotilla was a group of ships that were sailing all around the country following Cook's vague sort of route that he took when he was first here in 1769. Now, that flotilla consisted of 5 ships, I believe it was. So the first one was the Spirit of New Zealand, which is a sailing ship, in the sense that it's a ship with big sails, like pirate ship type thing. That is a modern ship that was built as a youth development ship, so it was designed for putting teens on board and letting them learn various skills and getting them outside of their comfort zone, letting them become better people, better leaders, all that kind of good stuff. And that was a more modern ship. It was a sailing ship, but it was a slightly more modern ship because it had electricity and cookers and dishwashers and all that kind of bit more modern stuff inside of it. There was also the kind of main event for a lot of people was the replica Endeavour. So there was a replica of Cook's ship that he sailed here in 1769 when he finally arrived here. So it's probably the ship that you're most familiar with in terms of, when you think Cook, you generally think Endeavour, or at least you do if you live in Australia and New Zealand. So that's, that was kind of the big thing, was a replica of that ship. So that was pretty cool. And then the kind of other thing that ended up actually for me being probably, or at least I went in there actually probably more excited about this than I was about the Endeavour, was the waka, which was it was meant to be 3, or there are 3 ships in the flotilla, but there was only 2 of them there on the day. Not sure why that was, but that's okay. We got to see 2 of them. And that's basically the double-hulled sort of waka that Polynesians would have been using to sail around in their migration all over the Pacific and eventually arriving in New Zealand. So kind of all that stuff we talked about in episode 2 of the main podcast, that was what they were sailing essentially. So we got to see 2 of those, which was really cool. So that was awesome. And then we saw some waka tangata as well, which were basically the kind of paddle boats. They don't have any sails, you just paddle them, and Yeah, so we've got to see a few of those as well. So they're more kind of coastal or river sort of vessels rather than open ocean vessels like the other four, that we saw as well. So me and my dad went to Picton to go see those because they were, because that's where they were, and we were going to go wander around Picton at the same time as well. We went up a hill, which was really cool, so just to see a bit of a view. And we also went to go see the Edwin Fox, which was it is a ship, it is an actual ship from the 1800s. It was built in, I want to say 1850s, 1860s, I can never quite remember, but it was sort of mid to late-ish kind of 19th centuries when it was built, and it did a whole bunch of different things, such as obviously bringing immigrants to New Zealand. That's why it currently resides in Picton in New Zealand. It also took convicts to Australia, did spice runs from India to England, and it took basically equipment and soldiers to around during the Crimean War. So it's a very, very interesting ship that has a very storied sort of history, and you actually get a walk on it as well, which is very, very exciting. The other thing that we did as well was we went to go see the aquarium in Picton. And the reason that I mentioned that is because we have all heard, of course, of episode 7, which is the tuatara episode. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you some tuatara, because there are tuatara in the aquarium in Picton. But not only is there tuatara in the aquarium in Picton, they are a particular sort of tuatara. They are a particular sort of tuatara, but they are very specific tuatara. What I mean by that is they are the tuatara that led to episode 7. They are the very tuatara that I used to look after and I used to teach people, and that I learned all about, that led to doing episode 7. So that was actually my old workplace. I used to live in Picton for a couple of years and I used to work in the aquarium there, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to show you the tuatara, because being the person that I am, in the sense that I used to work there and I used to handle them, I got to get a really good opportunity once again to pull them out and actually have it in my hand. Instead of just showing you in the window, I actually was able to get it out and show my dad, who was pretty chuffed, and also get to give you a closer look at it as well. So that was very, very cool. So without further ado, hopefully you enjoy this kind of, vlog of what we did. I don't know what it's going to look like or how good it's going to be, but hopefully it gives you a general idea of the kind of cool stuff that we went and saw, and the cool sort of things that we went and did, because there was a couple of other things that we did as well, like trying some nice food and that kind of thing. So hopefully you enjoy, and hopefully you get to see some of the cool stuff that me and Dad got to do. So let's head to the ferry. So upstairs, so we're going to go all the way up to 10 on the viewing deck. There's, up here there is, and we have encountered a problem.
What?
The pub's closed.
What?
Yeah.
Is that where it would be if it was
Yes,
open?
the pub is down there, down that way.
No pub at all.
No pub at all. How will we get through 3 hours of sailing without alcohol?
I should have brought my own.
You're legally not allowed to.
And but Surely there's a loophole.
There's a loophole.
Close the pub.
Close the pub.
Asterisk unless the pub is closed, and then bring all you like.
Yeah.
But they've closed the Bifrost on us, so we can't.
Yeah, I mean, we can't go back now. I mean, I guess we have to drink our own piss. I mean, yeah. We're gonna go.
Be a little bit of alcohol left.
We'll go this way. Exactly. No, we can't.
You've been denied on so many measures.
This is my worst nightmare. So yeah, so we're going to go all the way out into the Cook Strait, which is obviously named after Captain Cook, famous man that we will get to later on in the podcast. Way away though, way away, like years. So the Cook Strait is an okay stretch of water. Generally what I've been told by people is that it only is a southerly wind that makes it bad. But both me and I think you as well, we both get seasick.
Yeah.
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 So
You may get to see later.
we may get to see later. So we're both taking pills for it.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't end up being a mare. But we'll see. So we've just spent 3 hours on a boat. I don't know about you, but I'm real fucking tired.
No, I'm really tired.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Well, it wasn't that rough. Nobody spewed, so that's good.
We were fine.
We were fine, but now we've got to make our way out. Do we keep going down?
Deck 5.
Deck 5? This is deck 5.
Yep.
Try a vehicle. Yeah, sure. Yeah, cool. We found the lady. It is now the morning. For us, it's been what, like 6 hours?
Yeah.
We went to bed at like 1 o'clock last night. It is now, we got up at like 7 and it's now 8 o'clock. And we're gonna go pay so that we don't leave this place with
A stain on our reputation.
staying on our reputation for a place that we're probably never going to come back to anyway. And then we're going to go have some breakfast, and then we're going to go look at some boats and stuff. So we will see you then. So we are here at the Edwin Fox because they haven't opened the other ships yet. So we're looking at one of the oldest ships in the world. It says 9th oldest ship outside, but I'm reasonably confident that's not quite the case depending on how you define ship. But it's a really old ship, one of the oldest that's still kind of actually able to be walked on and that kind of thing. So there's some really cool stuff here about its construction and how kind of it was built, some of the tools that were used. This is the thing that I find quite interesting, is we can show you some of those on the actual ship as the joints. So that's how they locked them together without using nails and that kind of stuff. So this museum goes all the way around, basically going through how it was built, what it did, and then how it arrived here in Picton and what they have done with it, what they are doing with it, as well as a video of everything that they've been doing and that sort of thing. But it's all described in the actual museum itself.
Made of teak.
Yeah,
Because oak rusts iron, but teak oils preserve the iron nails.
correct. It also got covered in copper, and that was part of it as well. Also,
That would have been fancy.
fun fact about things in Picton. There's a whole bunch of stuff in Picton, furniture and stuff that's made of teak. It's all come from the ship. If you know, if it's in Picton and it's made of teak, it came from the ship. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
Waste not, want not.
Exactly. It's because it was sitting in we'll see it further around, but it was sitting in a bay for about like 50 years or something.
So people were just kind of like, I need a YouTube.
Yeah.
Just pop around the Edwin Fox. The
Yeah.
forests, they're overrated. Let's just
Yeah.
go around to the old ship in the corner there. and
Exactly.
Heck of
Rip it off. Yeah, class 1 historical site. Yeah, no worries, mate.
Yeah.
No worries, just rip it apart. It's fine.
There's more where that came from.
Exactly. So this is the copper that we're going to see on the actual ship. So they put copper all around it to kind of keep it nice and protected, so that it wouldn't, I guess, break apart and all that kind of stuff. But you can see there it says coppering was a very expensive method for protecting the hull with high labour and material costs. It accounted for 1/10 of the total hull costs, yet only 2 Far East voyages could be made before the recoppering was required. So it's a very expensive way of doing it, but it obviously worked to some degree. So this is an interesting thing about the Edwin Fox. There's this stripe across it. Kind of makes it look like it's got gun holes. That's actually not what it's got, because it's not a war vessel, it's a merchant vessel. So it made it look like it had gun holes, and therefore made it look more dangerous to pirates. So we've got some knots over here. So more about its construction, then onto its maiden voyage. And this is kind of where it actually went.
Moving on.
So it went all over the world. Obviously it tended to hang around New Zealand quite a lot. In Australia.
Southern Ocean is treacherous though. I mean,
it is. So a lot of stuff going from Britain to New Zealand, or Britain to Australia, trying to do the runs for immigrants or convicts.
Holy shit.
And then from India and back.
34 voyages around
Cape Horn.
Cape Horn?
That's Cape Horn, isn't it?
No,
Good
Cape
Hope?
Horn's there. Good Hope.
Cape Horn, okay, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Just the same. Still Southern Ocean,
Yeah.
34 voyages.
It's pretty,
It's impressive.
yeah. So we've got a convict here, but the bit that I wanted to show the most is this.
Oh.
So this is convicts transported to Western Australia in 1858 by the Edwin Fox. And it shows them by their name, date of birth, their sentence, where they were convicted, and what their crime was. So I find this very interesting because it tells you kind of what people got for various
Yeah.
things. So naturally, murder, you got life imprisonment in Australia. However, for things like, say...
This guy got life for burglary.
Exactly.
What did he steal?
Exactly. Misdemeanor. Don't know what that means.
14 years. Misdemeanor sounds like he was like chewing gum in public or something.
Yeah,
Spitting on the sidewalk.
exactly. You know, like sheep stealing, 6 years. Housebreaking, 14, 15 years.
Well, yeah, that's like home invasion though, so I get
I
that's
guess,
worse than sheep stealing.
I suppose, yeah. Sheep stealing though, 6 years. And you gotta remember that these people were being sent to an entirely different country on the opposite side of the planet for sheep stealing and being put there for 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you just go to the jailhouse and then you pop out and you're still in London.
Yeah.
Like you're on the opposite side of the
Yeah,
planet.
not doing
So on from convicts, eventually the Edwin Fox was used to do more, I guess slightly less depressing work, which was to bring immigrants to New Zealand. But of course, as you might imagine, on a 19th century ship, the conditions were still pretty crap. I think you just said before, it was 100 days on the ship, so about 3 months to go from Britain to New Zealand. So it was a long way.
Fever on the vessel on one of the voyages. 6 deaths, 2 from fever, 2 from accident, 1 from consumption. That's TB.
Yeah, I knew that. I'm a history guy.
Thrush? How the hell do you die of thrush? I think that must be something different. Thrush that we.
Are you sure? They died of random things.
Infant died of thrush. Well, yeah, that's just Canada. It's like,
Yeah.
you put a bit of yogurt up there and you're all good.
Yeah. Is this a good time to tell the people at home that you're a doctor, so
I'm
know
medical,
this?
so yeah,
he knows.
I've never had a patient die of thrush yet, and if I do, I'm seriously in trouble.
Yeah. So we're not just talking out our ass here.
Yeah. Dying of thrush, not a good way to go.
Not a good way to go. I feel like dying of any kind of disease listed there is probably not a good way to go. We're entering the part of the Edwin Fox's life where it suddenly becomes a bit more stationary, because what ended up happening is New Zealand is, of course, very well known for its sheep and kind of beef industry and that kind of stuff. So at this point it was seen that fitting ships with refrigeration was a good thing to do, so that we could ship, particularly lamb and stuff, back home or back to Britain. And so they fitted the Edwin Fox with some, basically removed all the sails and put some coal stuff in there. And
So it was just stationary. They just moored.
yes, so they just moored it off, and it basically just became a factory, I believe.
But still had the awesome painted on gun ports.
It did, yes.
Just in case the pirates wanted to
In
come
case, yeah. So as you can see up here, it's basically because the sailing ships became redundant because steamships became the norm. So it was retrofitted or refitted for some new stuff, which was in Donna's.
Ah.
So she was fitted for a new role in the infant New Zealand freezing industry. So we've just been through the museum and we've learned all about at least some of the Edwin Fox, some of its stuff, and we've just come outside. We're just about to go onto it. There's a whole bunch of
Come this way, my boy.
so there's a whole bunch of other stuff in here, I guess, all about some
Fun shit.
all kinds of stuff covered in
Crustaceans.
crustaceans and shellfish and a wheke or an octopus. Some yucky looking fish like blue cod and spotties and tarakihi and other random things. So we've got harakeke, New Zealand flags. So this is a sandal. Hello to that person who sent me an email last week asking what kind of footwear they were wearing.
Ah.
That.
Ah. Cool. It'll work.
So
Might chafe a
yeah,
little.
it might chafe a little, but I mean, to be honest, you can't wear your bloody Nikes or whatever in, pre-European modern society. You've basically got to work with what you got. That's pretty cool. And of course, classic tuatara.
Is there another tuatara on
There
top?
is another tuatara on top. And they
I think that's posed. I don't think that's in their natural state.
No, I don't think so, no.
They've sort of balanced it on there.
I do believe so.
Okay, just wait.
Just hang on.
Okay,
I mean, they don't
okay,
move
I'll look at the
much.
picture.
They don't move much, so
Well, that is true. They are. Yeah, maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't so hard to do.
yeah. We've got some nice birds that we will talk about in the Patreon episodes as well.
You know, kiriru. Delicious.
They are, wow. we don't. Okay, if you're police and you're watching this, we do not know what kiriru tastes like.
Allegedly delicious.
Allegedly delicious.
Okay.
There is currently a rahui on them and it is currently illegal to eat them. We have not
well-
tasted kiriru.
But that case in point. You wouldn't have a rahui on them unless they were delicious, because if they didn't taste good, then people wouldn't bother.
I mean,
So they must taste good.
They must taste good.
But logic tells me.
I mean, they're big and fat. Like, look how fat that animal is. It's got to taste good. It's got to taste
But the
good.
expression on his face is calling me fat. You're fat.
So we've got the nice Picton Harbour with the spirit of New Zealand right there. Which is
stupid spirit of New Zealand blocking the Endeavour.
yes, blocking the Endeavour.
Normally, you'd be the spirit of New Zealand, awesome tall ship. It's like, get out of the way.
The other way. We should probably also mention the Endeavour is not the real Endeavour, it is a replica of the Endeavour, but we're not going to say replica Endeavour every single time we say Endeavour. We'll just say Endeavour. There is a long line for it by the looks.
Oh, where did they get their tickets? They were closed before. Okay, well, we're in.
That's fine, we got all day. So Spirit of New Zealand is not actually a historical ship. It is not a replica of a historical ship as far as I'm aware. It is just a big sailing ship that I know you could teenagers like to go on, and they do like a leadership course on it and stuff. So yeah, but we're going to go on an actual historical ship. Actually, we're not going to go on it. We're going to go underneath it first. So this is underneath, or sort of underneath the Edwin Fox. So all of this green stuff is copper, and it is the thing that me and Dad have just been sort of talking about is it is quite large from down here. It is very imposing, and it should be mentioned that this is not a large vessel in the grand scheme of things. It is not big. So this actually wouldn't be the way you'd normally get on, is the thing. If I remember rightly, this was actually the way that they brought all the coal on and that kind of stuff. So this actually isn't the original way to get on. But look, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. So we can start with these because I remember what this says, because you won't never fucking forget that. This was a unit for 6 people. 2 adults and 4 kids.
Crikey. Wow.
So you imagine mum, dad, 4 kids topping and tailing it on this bed. And this is what, just to get some perspective, this is probably what, 1 metre wide and I don't know, maybe a couple of metres long, if that.
Straw-filled mattress. So this is where they live though?
Yes.
Because they weren't necessarily allowed up on deck that much. So.
Yep.
Wow.
So this is where they spent probably a lot of their time, is just lying in bed doing not a hell of a lot.
So imagine if somebody had diarrhea or something and vomiting, which
They're gonna happen. They're gonna have.
down below, guys.
Yep.
Yep. You're welcome to my office.
So that doesn't. So just looking under here, we can see there's just basically slats and then your mattress. So if you've got the runs,
It's running right through there.
it's going straight through. You're not gonna have a fun time.
No. So I wonder if there was special privilege to getting the top unit.
Probably.
It's like a penthouse.
Yeah, a penthouse. I mean, in fairness, you probably want to be in that one. That was first class, I think. This one.
First class.
I think it's first class. Oh, sorry, cabin class. Oh, it was equivalent of first class travel of the time. So this was first class travel.
Oh, yeah.
You had no bunks. I think this was good for 2 people normally.
Yep.
You got a lot more space. Generally just a hell of a lot less shit.
So you're keeping your luggage in that other one as well?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. So not just your kids and
I assume the luggage is just laid out on the floor somewhere.
in here? Oh, yeah.
And that way, yeah, someone just like on the deck, I guess. There's not much room. But yeah, cabin class passengers mixed with the captain, and officers, and often avoided the steerage class, which is the one we were just looking at. So they were. It works.
That'll wake you up.
They'll wake you up, absolutely. Something you do for fun, because of course, what do you do on a ship when there's, you haven't got your iPhone? There's no iPhones.
Well, there's no service. There's
No
thing.
service.
You can have your iPhone, but there'd be no
there's
service.
no service in the middle of the ocean. We know that 19th century passengers on a ship like this were, of course, all carrying the latest iPhones.
They were, but they were really upset that there was no service,
No
and
service.
also once the batteries ran out, there was also no way to charge the
Well,
damn
yeah,
thing.
man.
So
What do
they
you
were
do
really
that for?
disappointed and got upset with Virgin shortly thereafter.
So instead they were. Yeah.
Did you get any?
I got one.
You got one.
I got one. I didn't get the small one. though,
Congratulations.
so-
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what they were doing for fun. So this is kind of stuff I quite like, is this kind of being able to walk on literally history. Here you go. I don't know if you can see that, but that's that join we were looking at.
Oh,
There's another
is it-
one here.
Yeah, one of those.
Yep. So you don't have to use nails as much. Don't fall in those, by the way. They're quite deep.
Oh. There goes your worm.
Yep. Worm
Why
infestation.
you're copper covered. Gee, you'd think they might want to. I know it's like authentic and all, but.
that was the Endeavour. It was pretty good. Didn't get to go below deck though. Bit bummed about that. But overall, I think considering that this ship was more or less the entire reason we came, pretty great. Yeah, seal of approval, I think.
Yeah, we'll give it an Uber rating of at least 4.5 stars.
4.5 stars. No tip though. No tip. So we're currently having lunch after being on the Endeavour, and I've been telling my dad all about these pies at this particular bakery that I used to frequent for 2 years while I lived here. I've been talking them up quite a lot, and so there's a lot of riding on this. So we've gotten a pie each. I've got chicken bacon mushroom camembert. He's got chicken cranberry. Was that it? Yeah, so we want to document the first reaction of biting into these pies that have made me so fat.
It's a two-hander.
It's a two-hander. So first mouthful might be mostly pastry.
I like it.
That's pretty typical. I feel weird just filming you, just eating a pie. What do we?
I don't like chicken pies.
Yeah? I thought you were going to say I don't like chicken pies, this is no exception.
No, this is good. Really good.
So is that a thumbs up?
That's a thumbs up.
That's a thumbs up. Nice. We're going to have lunch now, and then we're going to go, after our pies, we're going to have some kina, and we're going to have some paua in true Kiwi fashion, and then we're going to go see some waka and waka tangata, which we've already seen a little bit as well. So yeah, I'm going to eat my pie. Alright, so we found a nice place down on the middle of the main drag.
Chatham Island Seafood.
Chatham Island Seafood, shout out. And we've decided to get some kina shots, or kina if you're not from New Zealand, is sea eggs or sea urchins. So they commonly get the eggs from them, and you put them in a shot, and we can eat them. So we've got some shots of kina eggs, and we're going to see what they're like, because neither of us have had them before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So cheers. Cheers. Yeah. Wow.
That's good.
That's nice.
Yep.
Real salty.
Yep. A little bit sweet. A little bit like a cross between an oyster and like a crayfish taste. And probably both of those. And oyster crayfish.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I don't know if delicious is the word I'd use.
It's quite. It's off the sea.
It is off the sea.
Okay.
It's definitely an acquired taste for me.
I like it.
Yeah. So as I was doing kina shots, I don't know how well I got that on camera, but yeah, we'll see. It's alright. But now, you're just Dad's just losing all the.
The other way.
He's losing all the. He's losing all the salt and pepper.
There you go. It's got to have.
So I know I've ragged on about this probably on Twitter quite a bit, but we've got to mention that I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but we're having some. Dad's got a whitebait patty. So whitebait galaxids, and they are. Oh, sorry, I'll take those. Thanking you. I got it.
There you go.
I got it. So whitebait galaxids, and they are juvenile forms of enanga, cockapoo, banded cockapoo, giant cockapoo, and they're freshwater fish here in New Zealand, and they're really endangered. So we're going to eat them, the juvenile forms. So
you're eating the babies of endangered fish.
Correct. The only fish in New Zealand that is allowed to be commercially sold, apart from eels, I was also informed.
Native eels.
Native eels can also be commercially sold.
What are the native eels called?
I know their English name, longfin eels. I don't know their Māori name.
Cockapoo?
No, that's cock. That's those.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna steal a little bit of your. Do you want to just? Yeah, and just.
Oh, okay. Baby fish down the hatch.
That's quite nice. It's basically just egg and salt and pepper. Not much else to it. Yeah.
Cool.
The other thing we've got here is paua dumplings. So paua, I've actually, you can't see this because I did this off camera, but I had 2 people come up and say, "What a paua?" And I had to explain just this to them. So I've already had practice. But paua is commonly called abalone or abalone, I think, in other parts of the world. It's basically a native New Zealand shellfish, sea snail. So you quite commonly eat them, but you also see them on jewellery and stuff. It's kind of the shiny stuff with multicolours. Smell quite good. It does smell quite good. So we have had paua before, but we've never had them. I've never had them in dumplings.
I've never had them in dumplings.
No, so we're going to see what they taste like in dumplings. That's nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
you can have the last of the baby.
Okay.
Endangered fish.
Just make me feel terrible.
Oh, I'm making you feel terrible.
You are. So anyway, there's our kind of brief excursion into native New Zealand seafood.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go look at some waka now. I think waka hourua. So we'll see you there. So this looks like where you sleep.
You wouldn't want to be a...
So this is in the, you guys won't have seen this, but this was in the male side of the waka. So they said the waka is a male and a female side. So he said the starboard side was the male side, which was, I can't remember what he said it was in Te Reo, but he said it was the, something of the albatross.
Was it the wing of the albatross?
Wing of the albatross? Something like that. So this looks like, so this is basically, essentially, it's a catamaran with, double hull. So this is one of the hulls. So nice little couple of beds in there, couple of beds in there. So we've been to a star dome. It wasn't really a star dome thing though.
That's what they called it.
That's what they called it, but it wasn't a star dome thing. It was more like a general kind of, basically like the first 4 episodes of the podcast.
It seemed very familiar.
Very familiar, yeah. And then, a kind of general history of New Zealand after Europeans arrived, Cook, Te Waitangi, the Musket Wars, New Zealand Wars, all that sort of stuff. And we're gonna go walk up a hill, which gives us a nice view of Picton. So I'm gonna put you on my cap, and we're just gonna walk up the hill and see how it goes. So last time we were on a mountaintop. We're on that hill.
Yeah.
So since then we've come down from the hill, obviously, and we are now. We had some ice cream. It was quite nice. I had spiced apple, and you had.
I had yogurt and quince.
Yeah,
That's good.
it was weird.
It stuck in my teeth.
Yeah, it was, but I don't really like it. But yeah, and then we've now come to where I used to work, which is Endeavour Aquarium in Picton. So in front of us is some fish. We've got the door unlocked because I don't have the keys anymore, and we got some cooked straight tuatara. So all of these guys are under the age of 20, which obviously, if you've listened to episode 7, means that they are all genderless, as far as I'm aware. But this one's probably a girl, that one's probably a male, probably. So I'm going to jump in there and grab one because I know what I'm doing, and then Dad's going to, I guess, hold the camera as I do that.
Okay.
Just got to be a bit careful. Here we are.
Wow.
So that little grunting that you hear means he is annoyed at me.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, you're right. You can see he's also shedding as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that's fine, that's perfectly normal. And you can see the spines on his back, nice and soft.
Quite cold.
Quite cold, so they like it anywhere between 5 and 20 degrees.
Wow.
So very cold.
Yeah, quite cold, fella.
And feel kind of soft and leathery almost.
I was thinking of taking a little bit of that tuatara skin back, but I think the Australian authorities would not be impressed.
No, neither will the New Zealand ones. Doc,
No, that's true.
Doc will have you for it. So yeah, so quite soft and leathery skin, soft sort of back spines, just what they're named after.
Amazing.
Just generally
They're amazing. Wow.
a
Not,
really
not at all like a snake or
no.
even any other lizard I've ever come across. Well, when I say other lizards.
Lizards, it's not a
No,
lizard.
they're not lizards.
Not a lizard. So
Sweet, got a boat to catch.
So that's great. We're doing a whistle stop tour. You're right, mate. You're right. There you go. There you go. We're doing a whistle stop tour of the aquarium because we've got to catch a ferry in about 5-10 minutes.
4.
4 minutes. He's taking the lock. Oh no, he isn't. So there's a very, very whistle stop tour of where I used to work and those tuatara that I used to look after, and this is where I know all of my tuatara knowledge. So we're going to go get on a boat really quickly now, and we'll probably record a bit of us coming out of the sound, like going through the sounds and stuff. But yeah, see you then. So we made it on the ferry just because they say last call. We didn't hear the first call. I don't think there was a first call.
Just opened the gate next to you.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But we're now on the ferry, and we're in now the Marlborough Sounds. We've been out here for probably, I don't know, half an hour-ish? 5:07, maybe even 40 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, we're just going to show you some of Marlborough Sounds. We've seen some gannets already dive bombing. We've seen some, probably some terns. We've seen some dolphins as well, but they were kind of going too fast for us to kind of record.
You're making them jealous.
I am making them jealous. They're just going, why did you not record this? Because we were watching. I was too busy in the moment. So yeah, so we're just going to kind of show you some of the Marlborough Sounds as they very slowly go past. And what we'll show you is something over there. That there is a New Zealand king salmon farm.
Oh, salmon.
So it's a salmon farm. So all of those pens have got loads and loads of salmon in them, and they drop food into them, you know, all the time until they can see food come down the bottom and they know that they're full. They've got pellets that are really nutritious to basically make them really fat and make them really big as fast as they possibly can. But the seals were just jumping over and diving in and just having a great old time in there.
They'd be too fat to jump back.
Yeah, so that was the problem. So what they ended up doing was putting nets over top of all of the salmon farms, all of the pens, so they couldn't jump in anymore. You do see the seals kind of hanging around outside and trying to look for ways in and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I will call them out right now. They will tell you it's one of the most environmentally friendly ways to get salmon. They are bullshitting you. It is terrible for the environment. I have been told by people that underneath the salmon farms is basically just a layer of poop from these guys. Same with the mussel farms. They'll also tell you that's the most environmentally friendly way. It probably is the most environmentally friendly way, but that's because the other way that we're doing it is by just pull them all out of the water, wholesale fishing them. So yes, so maybe they're right, but the bar wasn't that high to begin with. So yeah, but anyway, let's just look at some of the sounds. We will call it there because this GoPro is very rapidly running out of power. So thank you very much if you are seeing this. I don't know if this is going to get off the ground and actually be put into the world, but if you are seeing this, thank you for watching this kind of dumb video that we made. of us just going around making fun of things we probably shouldn't make fun of occasionally. There might be some stuff cut out that you didn't see that we did kind of make fun of.
Stuff we cut out would be the most believable.
We might have to make a bloopers reel, X-rated, red band trailer, maybe. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us on this wonderful and weird adventure into Picton. So, haere tua tu, hoki tu mai. See you next time.